Do you have video?
Let's see.
People would like to see a face if it's possible, you know, versus, oh, there you go. Okay, cool.
Oh, hi.
Okay, well, welcome. This is the first time I've actually physically seen you.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So let me just get this turned up a little bit. Oh, can you still see me?
I can. Yep.
Okay.
Still here.
Okay, cool. Let me just make sure I'm have this going here. Okay, cool. Well, welcome to the call, and I appreciate you being on the call. And I'm sure anyone that sees this video in the future that's been Floxed will greatly appreciate you coming on and you know, just giving your success story, because there's millions of people that have been damaged, and you know, it takes something to get on film and give your testimony. So I want to let you know I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So maybe give the audience, Carrie, a little background on like how long you were Floxed and what kind of symptoms you had.
Okay. So I originally just had some pressure back in September, October period in 2018. And, you know, I just didn't think much about it, went to CVS and they gave me that, you know, macro, the standard medication they give you for a UTI.
Mm-hmm. So you initially had a UTI. That's how you initially got Floxed.
It never really grew out anything.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, that's typical. I mean, women go for UTIs and it comes back negative and they're Floxed already. It's like classic. I hear that stuff so many times. Like, yeah, I went and they thought I had a UTI. They gave me Cipro or whatever. And then the thing came back negative like a day later, but they're already damaged.
So I was already treated for a UTI, and I didn't, even after taking that full 7 days, I think it was like nitroglycerin or something like that, the generic form of is it macrodentin, or, you know, just a simple antibiotic to get a UTI, rid of UTI. So they treated me with that first, and then I just didn't feel any better in general. Like my stomach hurt, I felt really weak. I was starting to get a pain in my right side. So I went back to my primary doctor, and she did another urine test. And long story short, the next few days, she said, you know, you have elevated levels of E. coli and staphylococcal, and we're going to treat that with this generic form of levaquin, so fluoroquinolone. So I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't challenge it. So my husband went to get it, and almost immediately after taking the drug, I started feeling very strange, and like I had striking pains in my arm, and just felt horrible. So it literally just every pill I took, and I was only taking 2 pills a day that were about 500 milligrams. Every pill I took, I felt worse. So when I called back the primary, or, you know, I went there actually 2 other times to see her. The third time they put me in the hospital because they thought it was, you know, the kidney infection, but it was the drug that was doing that. So they took me off of that drug after 3 days into it and started treating me with amoxicillin, but the damage had already been done. I could hardly walk. My whole right side, it felt like it was paralyzed. I couldn't make a decision. I had brain fog. I had a trembling, you know, like a constant trembling in my hand. I felt like things were crawling in my head. Like I felt things walking in my head. So me being the stable person in our family, to go from one extreme to another extreme, it was a very emotional struggle in general. It was devastating to our family. Yeah. So everybody's looking to mom to say, what do we do now? And mom doesn't know, because mom can't. I couldn't even speak a full sentence. I was stuttering. Wow. I would cry, outbursts of crying. So they ended up putting me in the hospital, and they pulled me off of the drug. Like I said, the damage had been done. So by the time they let me stay for about a day and a half, and then there was no association with, well, the drug is going to be permanent damage, or, you know, some type of damage that you're going to have to deal with. I didn't have a clue. It wasn't until, so that was middle of October.
Of 2018 now, October of 2018 we're talking about?
2018.
Okay, and just so people know, so October 2018, right now, we're speaking in February of 2020.
That's right.
Okay.
So the impact from the last pill was around October 23rd, 2018 through November, Thanksgiving. I was destroyed. I was destroyed in the sense that I had no sense of decision making, constant brain fog. I literally laid in the bed kind of just still.
Wow.
Because I couldn't focus on watching TV. I couldn't work. I had to take a whole month of sick leave. I couldn't function as a parent, as a wife, as a person. I just had a really hard time even getting myself out of the bed. I was not strong enough to even cook myself dinner. My husband quit work to take care of me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. So he quit his job and he took care of me, to basically try to bring me back. So I went to the doctor several times, my primary, and there still was no like this relation to the drug. It's just, we get treated you adequately and you know, that's what you needed to take. So there's no real association with there's a problem with this drug. It was until I Googled it, I found out that there's a black box warning.
Yeah.
And the more I found out about it, the more curious I was. But I was so limited on how strong I was to even logically think about what now.
Yeah.
So I had no idea how to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So I started talking to a holistic doctor who treated me with acupuncture and just some natural supplements. And I did improve from the period of, I would say, January of 2019. So I went for 2 straight months just struggling to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then January of 2019 to March of 2019, I started getting some of my thinking where I could think, I could actually have a conversation. I could, you know, I was struggling with, I had this constant tremble in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't use my right hand. I'm right-handed. I couldn't use my right hand well to write. I couldn't, I had trouble walking down steps because my right leg would tremble.
Wow.
So I wasn't really stable. So I had to have, you know, a lot of help during that time, just kind of getting around. I could not physically walk from my front door to my car to get in the car to go get my kids from school. It was a very difficult time. And here I'm a athlete all my life.
Now you look athletic. I mean, this is the first time I've seen you, but you definitely are like, you definitely have got the athletic physique, that's for sure.
This is me 30 pounds lighter. I lost 30 pounds from October to November. I lost 30 pounds. I still haven't recovered that weight. I'm still about, you know, 20 pounds down of where I was. And I've lost muscle.
Yeah.
You know, legs, lower body, muscle mass, you know, so kind of going back to the, so at the time before I was flocked, I was CrossFitting. I could not even get on a bike after this point. I couldn't get myself to the gym, but you know, that struggle, I can tell you about it in, you know, 5 minutes worth of talking, but the pain associated with it and the constant daily struggle of not knowing when I was going to heal or how to get better, or my family didn't know how to help me. So they were very frustrated. It was the worst thing I can say I've ever been through. It was horrible.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I know we've been working together for a couple months, and I guess I didn't, you know, once you get on like a phone call like this, you like learn a little more details of how bad it was. How many capsules of 𝗶𝗶𝘀 did you take, or pills?
So I took the 3 days of 500 milligrams times 2. So that would have been 3,000 milligrams. Mm-hmm. And then when they put me in the hospital, they switched me over to amoxicillin. But then the hospital list requested that I finish the bottle of 𝗶𝗶𝘀, or it was Fluoroquinolone, afterwards, which I was like, what am I going to do? He's telling me to do it. And I trusted that because here I am in miserable shape. I didn't want to get a superbug. So I did it. Right. And so that would have been 7 more days of that treatment. So I ended up finishing off the entire bottle in misery. Yeah. You know, one of the things I didn't mention that I should bring up, because I'm reading that a lot of folks can relate to, is that they have panic attacks. And for the first 6 days after I was off the fluoroquinolone, I started having a series of panic attacks to the point where I could not, if I sat down and become still, and I had a trouble getting around, I couldn't walk well. So, but if I stopped doing something, the stillness would send me into a panic attack so extreme that I would just lock up and shake. And it would probably only last about 60 seconds, but it was like I wasn't having convulsions. It was bad. So I was doing that 6 or 7 times a day after I came off the drug. Once they put me back on it, after the hospitalist put me back on it, for that 7 days I was on it, and I had extreme pain, daily problems. Every time I took it, about an hour later, I would have striking pain. I felt like I was having a heart attack. So after that point, for 6 or 7 days, I had at least 6 panic attacks a day.
Wow.
I would force myself, when I felt like I was having a panic attack, I would have to hold on to something and walk back and forth in my living room to force myself out of the panic attack. But I have been reading that a lot of people have had panic attacks associated with the post.
That's a lot. That's a huge thing. I get on the phone with all those people, and a lot of people have panic attacks, suicidal thoughts, depression. Their heart feels like it's going to jump out of their chest. I mean, that's very, very common. The deep, central nervous system damage is really prevalent with Floxies for sure. So with the Floxies are out there, so we've been working together for about 2 or 3 months now. And yesterday we had a call. I was like, Carrie, I can't believe the changes. Can you do a Zoom call here? So just tell the Floxies out there, what kind of changes you've had since you and I have been working together, specifically with the functional medicine program.
Sorry.
Okay, good.
So the major difference, I started to improve with time, for sure. And then the improvement after that was very slow wins, if you will. But it wasn't until, honestly, I met you and you said, let me fix what's broken. And I think that's when the real change started to happen. I was not educated as well on my diet. And then after talking to you, and when you mentioned some of the trigger foods, I was like, I'm eating those all the time.
Yeah.
So I literally eliminated any of those foods out of my diet. And then, that created, it took me about 2 weeks to start reaping the benefits of that by eliminating white potatoes and, any type of pasta. Even if it was gluten-free, I just stopped. Cold turkey.
Gluten-free stuff is horrible. Yeah.
So then from there on, I started the supplements that you suggested. I started taking, and I had some trouble in the first with the certain types of supplements, but I felt like a huge transition within about 30 days. And then that gave me I started thinking more clearly, and I started talking myself into more things like, maybe I should start riding the bike again. Maybe I should start, getting back into the gym, even if I'm just there for, moral support, friends moving us along, and I know that working out just increases your red blood cells, which was one of the things that I struggled with that damaged me, my red blood cells, and I needed to repair that. So I said, well, today I'm going to ride the bike for 5 minutes and I'll get through it, or won't get through it. And that 5 minutes turned to 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes turned to 15. And I just kept pushing through. And then the supplements and the food change, I just felt like after about 30 days, I got a really big boost. And the other thing that really helped me was the magnesium. I was just treating that as needed. I was taking magnesium as needed instead of really diving in and making that a part of my life. I'm going to have to take, 3 scoops of magnesium today to use the bathroom correctly.
Yeah.
And that's a big, it seems like common sense now but when you can't think clearly and you don't have a map, you can't get to where you need to go. Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing. When you say the map, there's tons of information on the internet. I think working together, when it comes to these Floxies, working together, we're just putting all the pieces together, taking the time out so people can recover and get better quicker. Because mean, there's so much information up there. Just a layperson cannot connect all the dots and quickly eliminate the time. And literally within like 3 months or 2 months, I mean, yesterday you said you were like 90% recovered.
Yeah, I would say I'm 90% recovered. The things that I'm still struggling with, I spoke to you about yesterday, that I'm just having some lingering issues that I think over time will probably work its way out, because I'm healing the gut, I'm healing my mind, and the supplements that you've helped me get to are the keys to help me making me whole. And that's where I needed to be. And I had no idea. I was just throwing stuff at a wall. And I work in the medical field. You know, I work for a contract sterilization facility. I sell actual contract we sterilize medical devices.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
And I you know, I feel like I should have been educated enough. I'm a long-term athlete, but I was lost. I just could not understand how to get there. And there's so much information on the internet, and some of it applied to that particular person. But I think the thing that put me over the hump is to work with you and to understand, you know, well, what's my map?
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Yeah.
And I don't think I could have got there. I would have never been at the same place just based on reading different information.
Yeah. I think too, I mean, yeah, I appreciate that. I think too, with the online portal, with that information there's more information there that's accumulating now and now. I just put some more information up the other day. But I think that's like a source where people can go and get truthful information that can drive them, you know, from Flox to healing a lot quicker, because it's a truthful, sourceful piece of information online, the Floxy course.
And I feel like you just don't get that attention. Nothing against the medical industry. I mean, they're there to help a mass amount of people in a short period of time, but you really don't. I would have not received this amount of focus otherwise. And I think that really makes a difference. You know, we just trust whatever someone says, here's your prescription, take it. You just trust it. And there's a lot of damaging, you know, antibiotics out there, something that's there to help you. There was no real intention for it to damage you, but the way we're made up, we're all different DNA matrices, and we've got certain genes that it attacks, and it absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah.
So it took me, the full year. And then, when we started talking, so 2 months after I started working with you, then it took me to kind of push me over the edge. And I guess I was around 70% at the time. And that 20% is huge. When you have a family and you work a full-time job.
Yeah.
You need that 20%.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you giving the video testimonial success story. Is there any last words you want to give out there? Because I'll be really honest with you. There's Floxies out there that I've talked to on the phone. I've done lots of consults, and these people just have not moved forward, man. I don't know what to freaking do. I bang my head, like, these people need guidance. So what would be like your advice to people that are out there? Because there's a huge amount of Floxies out there. There's just not a small amount, in my opinion. There's probably millions of people worldwide that have been damaged. The whole thing is, were you able to correlate the damage to that medication? But what would you say for people out there that are suffering that have been Floxed?
I would encourage them to spend the time and the money, because it's not a lot of money. I mean, in relation to your overall health, it's not a lot of money. Beg, borrow, and steal it to get it, to get the help, because I strongly feel that fear can override you, and you're so afraid, and when you're already damaged and you can't work, you're just fearful to take that next step. And I would just encourage them that, if you want to be better, then you need to take that next step and see it through. And get people on the same page as you, because I think that was part of the thing. Is when I saw you online, I saw you help another patient. I talked to my husband about it, and had he hemmed and hawed about it, I probably would have been on the edge about going through. But I'm so thankful that he supported it, and he said, go through with it. You're struggling, and you're not that kind of person. So I would just say, see it through and make the commitment to get better, because your health is the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you have a great husband. I mean, obviously he took like a month off or 2 months to try to support you. And then you told him about this, you and I working together, and you're in Texas, right?
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Okay. I'm all
Yeah.
over. I help all people all over the world now, but so you can get help anywhere, at this point in the world. And your husband obviously is a godsend. He helped you and he's like, yeah, go do it. So, all right, Carrie, thank you for the interview. And believe me, this video, if you found some kind of connection with Ruthie's video, like you're going to be making a huge impact in the fluoroquinolone community with this video.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.